Well, what are you gonna do about Gary? Oh,
Girl, I don't know.
I mean, I should be asking you what you're gonna do about the penthouse.
That part. I constantly hear Danny on rotation in my head saying, screw him, keep that shit.
I made a mistake. If you bought an apartment for someone, can you get it back?
Alright, folks, so we are closing in on the season 4 finale with season 5, and, I'm theorizing, 2023. But when do you think Andy's going to get a wake-up call? Like, Karen seemingly got hers in the last episode when Heather rolled up with the baby, claiming that it's Zach's and that they were seeing each other while he was with Karen. But, I'm skeptical as to whether or not she's fully done with him, given that, in the last episode, she's all about, Andy having the last laugh, but then tried to compare the Gary situation to Zach. And that's why I've always said Gary and Zach are always kind of the points of interest between Andy and Karen, where they're both two men that neither one should be messing with. So it's like if one goes through something, the other one does. Or, like at the beginning of season 4, hell, when Andy was telling Karen about the Rolls Royce and how Karen said that, I guess it's time for me to move on from Zach, like you're going to move on from Gary, right? It's almost like a, hey, I'll go on a diet if you go on a diet. And then it's like, well, if your friend catches you with a slice of pizza, then I'm going to go out and get some ice cream. You know what I mean? Where it's like almost like a accountability that really doesn't work with these two. It's like, hey, Andy, keep the shit, have the last laugh, because you're owed this, so I'm going to still do what I'm doing with Zach to get what I feel I'm owed. So it's kind of weird how that works. But the reason I'm bringing this up in the video is the fact that I don't know how Andy will get this wake-up call. It's the whole thing where, will she try to have the last laugh? We know that Gary is going to try to sue Andy, or should I say, he's going to look for legal advising from his lawyer Hayden on how to possibly get the apartment and possibly everything else he gave to Andy, by what Hayden probably suggests suing her. So do you think season 5 will be Andy trying to fight back? Instead of the whole getting with Gary thing, she's actually going to fight it. And let's say it gets to a point where Andy is going to win because her name's on everything, and maybe Robin helps out, even though I don't see why Robin would, because if he does this just to kind of get in Andy's good graces, I think that's bull crap for him, because that's simping at that point where, hey, you know what? It feels like a Kanye Pete Davidson thing where I'm going to help you win this penthouse that your ex bought you, and then I want to be laying up in the bed with you again, kind of like what Pete and Kim did with Kanye. I don't know. But yeah, they broke up. That's pop news I don't give a crap about. But in any case, it was only relevant to this video. It would be one of those situations where I could imagine if Gary is on the verge of losing and then he tries to pull at Andy's heartstrings to get her back, like, look, I will drop the charges and everything, I will drop this lawsuit, and instead of fighting, we can both enjoy that penthouse together like I originally planned. And then I wonder if this will snap Andy out of it, but I don't really think so, because I don't know. It's just one of those things where she'll have those moments of, oh my God, I've been so stupid, you're trash. But then the next morning, I don't know, I do kind of miss him. What? Come on. So what do you think is going to take? Because that's the thing I don't really like about Andy. It's just that she goes through some of the most heart-wrenching, heartbreaking, and life-changing experiences. Everything involving what Jasmine did to her, the feds arresting Gary in front of her, the government seizing her property and everything. She's been through so much, but she doesn't act like it. It's almost like it's just another day in the park. It doesn't really affect her. It's like when she says, you know what, I put up with all this shit and everything, but you chose to be there. You still chose to be there with Gary after he bruised your ribs, after his ex-wife pointed a gun in your face, after the feds arrested Gary and took all your assets, after, his ex and her girls jumped you in the parking garage, after you found out that he was literally sleeping with another woman while he was seeing you, it's just one of those things where it I don't even know how to sympathize with Andi or how to feel, because we've all been thinking, I mean, you're the one who's still there with him, so why would we care? It's kind of like Neo's current wife that just filed for divorce. Everybody, you know, a majority of people aren't showing sympathy because it's like, hey, you were the side chick when he was married before, and then you became a wife, so why should we care that he was cheating for allegedly 8 years? Because, you know, you lose him how you get him. And I feel like the same can be true of Andi. It's the fact that when it comes to Andi as a character, what have we really seen in this show to shake the foundation of her character to make her change or want to? Like, what's going to be the wake-up call to have her no longer associate with Gary? It's like you can have a line of 50 eligible bachelors who have things in common with Andi, who treat her right, but she will still choose Gary every time. What does that say for her as a character? What does that say for her development? And when exactly will it end with her actually figuring out this isn't the guy for me? I mean, Gary's becoming a cartoon character at this point, you know, same with him and Hayden, you know. The more I thought about it, I gotta find a screenshot, but remember when the two new neighbors moved across the street from Randall's house? It was the white couple, and the woman had some mental issues, and there was that one scene where Randall had some binoculars and he was sitting on his porch looking, you know, at the house across the street, and then Natalie came up and whipped him with a switch. I need to find that screenshot because it reminds me of when Gary had the binoculars. He pulled those out of the drawer, but also when he had the telescope. So I mean, hopefully we don't get an Andi and Marcy situation where, you know, Andi kills Gary, because that'd be pretty messed up. I just want to know, what do you think? I mean, she can quote unquote lose everything. I mean, she could still get her stuff back from storage that Gary took, so she can get that stuff and get her old apartment back, but she loses the penthouse, the Rolls Royce, and yada yada yada. What would really happen? I mean, would Andi really care? I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it will matter. That's the thing about the Andi character. There's really no need of doing these kind of theory videos because they really don't go anywhere. I mean, hopefully in season 5 we see some growth. I mean, you could look at it from the Robin angle, but she's just using him the same way she used Paris before. And you want a Rolls Royce? He can buy you one. He could buy the penthouse. I don't know, but let me know. Do you think Andi's ever going to open her eyes, or we're still going to be on this roller coaster of, or this hamster wheel of Gary and Andi just nonstop? I don't know. Just speaking gibberish. All right, so make sure you take a moment to hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video. Hit subscribe. Hit the bell icon and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post content on the channel. And I will catch you all in the next one.